Mick. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Real Combat. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, and this is the game of a great debate over movies, nonetheless. And tonight I am joined by Sir Sturdy himself from the horror podcast, Horror with Sir Sturdy, and Chris Rhydings, actor and star of the new movie, Heavy Duty Man, are joining me. And they have two horror movies for me to watch tonight, but which one will win? How this works, of course, is we have 3 rounds. First round, you're going to debate the movies and why your movie should be watched. Second round is rebuttals. Third round is what that movie means to you. So as we always do this, we're going to reveal the movies on air live, and whoever has the oldest movie gets to go first in the first round, then we go vice versa. So, Chris, I'm going to start with you, sir. What's the movie you chose tonight?
Phantasm, 1979.
I love it. All right. And Sir Sturdy, how about you, my friend?
All right. Now, this one right here is going to throw people off, but Blood Lake from 1987.
Ooh, okay. I've never seen it. I have seen Phantasm. I've never seen Blood Lake. But as many of you have watched the show before, you know that doesn't matter. It's the argument that wins. So, from 1979, Phantasm. Chris, you are going to start the debates tonight.
All right, so what is my opening category here? Is it the pitch?
Here's your pitch for why I should choose your movie.
Fair enough. All right, well, personally, I think Phantasm's really good at blending horror and fantasy. It's the first of a series of 5 films, and it's one of those movies that deliberately makes no sense. As you're watching, you kind of have to go back and forth discerning between reality and dreams. And I can't really think of another movie that does that. Another reason is that you kind of question what you're seeing and why you're watching it and things like that. The whole dreamscape, so to speak, which I think is done better here than Nightmare on Elm Street. One of the other things I particularly like about this film is, well, the Plymouth Barracuda. It's the only car outside of a time-traveling DeLorean that I ever cared about growing up. You have a cool story about reanimation, zombies, a gravedigger, all sorts of fun times. There's also good pieces about it. Now, it does have its own blemishes. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but it's an independent film that took over a year to develop. And there's a bunch of background and interesting trivia about the film that I can go on and on about. It is probably one of my favorite movies.
All right. I like that argument. And I did not know that it took a year to develop, so that's pretty cool to learn.
Yeah, I can even go into further detail on that if you wish.
Yeah, please. Go right ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure how much time I was allotted. So.
Whatever you need for the first round, you go right ahead.
Fair enough. Well, if I remember correctly, it took like over a year to do that, and because mostly they were filming on weekends, because they would actually have to rent the film gear, and we're having to shoot that way. It was financed by basically all local people. Don's dad, Don Croskelly's father, lawyers, and I think like a dentist or something. So it didn't have a big backing from any major studio for production purposes. Even Don Croskelly's mother did the makeup and costuming of this film.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things I really like about this not just this film, but the franchise, Don Croskelly is, to my understanding, the only person that stuck with their franchise throughout the longevity of it. All 5 films, Don is either director or producer or connected. And you cannot say that about Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street, where they kind of lose the overarching story.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And his name and was it Don Mancini, who did Child's Play, the only 2 I really know that were connected to so closely connected to their franchises.
Exactly.
I love that. Great argument. So I have to ask though, so this seems to be one of your favorites. Out of all, I mean, an independent movie that went on to make 5 movies. What's your favorite
of this franchise?
Mm-hmm.
The first. I got to be honest, the first one. But I think each of them have their own particular tone. I can't say they're all great films. I'm not going to bullshit you. But I think they're creative, and you can look at each one of them and see a lot of passion behind them. They don't make these for the massive profit. It is a storytelling experience, in my opinion.
All right. Very cool. Now, Sir Sturdy, you are going with 1987's Blood Lake, a movie I've never seen before, so I'm interested to learn more. Now, that was a great argument for Phantasm. What do you have for Blood Lake?
That was an amazing argument. And before I even get started, I'm going to tell you guys, I hate this movie. But
you hate Blood Lake?
I hate the movie. But
you're not doing well.
Here's why I started out with that, because I want to start with honesty for one. But my thing is, I feel movies like this is the worst movie I've ever seen. But movies like this, I love me as a horror fan, and like a lot of horror fans that I know personally and just through podcasting. Every time somebody says that about a horror film, they have to go see it. They just, for whatever reason, to see if it's really as bad as it is. And this is the one for me. And I feel like with these bad movies, it makes you appreciate the ones that are kind of like, yeah, this movie was all right. Or, I like it, but I don't love it. Those ones that are in the middle, it makes you appreciate those a hell of a lot more. And I like these movies to be in the conversation. Like when you're going up, say you're at a horror convention, hey, have you ever seen this? No one usually picks those like, yo, have you ever seen this movie here? This movie freaking sucked. You should definitely check this out just because it's just, and it's not that, it's going to be tough to watch, I'm telling you, but it's not that one. It's not one of those films that's so bad it's good and fun. None of that. It's just like, why was this made? What the hell? But in the same token, again, I want these bad movies, the horrible movies, to be in the same conversation as the good movies, just as far as getting those views, because people did spend their time on it. And just to spread more movie knowledge, because it gets kind of boring when you're talking about the same movies over and over and over. Phantasm, you sold me on that though, Chris. I am gonna watch it, but I don't know. I came with a weird, like, when you made the post earlier, and when you explained it to me, I swear to you, I was debating all day, just thinking about it. And I was talking to some friends about it. I was gonna pick. I'll tell you what I was thinking of: Sinister, Conjuring, and Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat I was only thinking of because of Halloween, the theme. But I was like, no. Everybody's always come from, I'm sure everybody tries to come with like a good movie. I'm like, let me come with a bad movie, change it up, because it's one of those films you throw in there, you watch one time, I swear to you, you're going to remember the whole damn movie. You're never going to want to watch it again. But one thing you will want to do is make others watch it. Like, yo, check this out. Tell me what you think about it. And that's basically it. I did, believe it or not, I did have about 3 or 4 people tell me that they actually enjoyed this movie. I do feel they should be drug tested, but that's just my opinion. But again, it's one of those like, it's like a gag gift type of thing. Like you would give to your friend and they check it out. Cool. Blood Lake, cool title. Movie, not so much.
All right. Interesting. Again,
I appreciate Sir Sturdy you saying that I sold you enough to go check out the movie. Thank you.
I'm actually going to be, because I'm going to be reviewing it on my podcast eventually. So that, when it pops up. But with this, I reviewed this on my podcast twice. The first time I did it was me and my co-host were reviewing it. Second time we did it was to get other people to watch it. Mm-hmm. So I watched it a second time. I'm never going to watch this again. So I watched it a second time just to get others to watch it. And nobody liked it. 2 people gave it a decent, gave it a...
Are you referring to Blood Lake or Phantasm?
Say that again? Oh, Blood Lake. Blood Lake. That was just... It's one of those movies. Again, I just feel, like I said a little while ago, everybody's always saying, you should watch this, you should watch that. I'll even include Phantasm in it, even though maybe it's not as popular in that conversation, even though it should be. But
that's another reason why I picked it, to be honest.
Well, and I like that. But I feel like, again, at the other end of the spectrum with the horrible films, it's just, because it just makes you like, fuck. Because I want to see something worse than Blood Lake. And I actually have an open challenge on my podcast to where, if anybody finds a movie worse than Blood Lake, which you have to watch Blood Lake first, send us the film that you think is worse. Come on the review with us. If we all collectively review it and it's worse than Blood Lake, you're going to win a free shirt and a free mug.
All right, I got it for you. Give me my free shirt and free mug. Watch Rock and Roll Zombies. Hard Rock Zombies. I guarantee you.
I've heard that a lot, man. I actually had one person, right, that I'm cool with. He messaged me. He's like, "Yo," he's like, "I have about 4 or 5 movies that are way worse than that." I was like, "Listen, man, watch Blood Lake first." He watched it. He was like, "Fuck, man. I'm sorry. I got nothing." But it's an open challenge and it's fun. And then if something is worse, like I said, you'll get a free shirt and a free mug. What I will do is that will be the new movie. And if somebody could beat that film and so on and so forth, just to kind of keep it going. But it also, like I said, the positive part about it, yes, these movies suck. You never want to see them. But it gives people, people will actually go watch them just for that reason. Like, oh, I can win a mug and a shirt. Let me watch this bullshit. And that's part of my pitch of you for you watching Blood Lake. Boom.
I like that.
I was like, he's gonna circle it back around. I see it coming.
Yeah. Well, no, he hasn't won me over yet because I do love Phantasm. And Angus Scrim Knight might be in order.
Angus, I love Angus.
Angus is beautiful.
I loved how you could meet him at a convention and he could recite the lines from the films verbatim. Like he knew them still, even near the end. Did
you ever hear the story of how he was chosen for the role?
My understanding is that he frightened Don Coscarelli and he was kind of like, I want that man.
He frightened him by carrying a coffin, a full coffin on his shoulder by himself. Mm. And Don Coscarelli looked at that like, what is this? Like, this is something.
And there's just so much creative stuff with this film that I just find interesting. Like that whole piece about Angus there, they fit him in suits that were 2 sizes too small to help make him look taller. And in scenes with Jodie, who's already a tall dude, Angus is 6'4", and they'd still have him stand on apple crates to be taller.
I'll tell you, it's well. Actually, why don't we go right into it? Because what we're going to do now is we're going to do rebuttals. So that's your rebuttal to Sturdy's argument, Sir Sturdy. Of course, you earned the title.
Yeah, Sir Sturdy. He has been knighted.
That title. So you will give your rebuttal now, Chris, and then you'll have your argument against his rebuttal, and then we're going to talk about your podcast. We're going to talk about the movie Heavy Duty Man.
Sure. I might plug some other stuff if you let me.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Rebuttal. I would be like, Mick, I want you to have a good time tonight, and it doesn't sound like watching Blood Lake is going to do you any favors. Angus, we both have already said Angus is a good fellow. And that voice, you can't go wrong with that voice. I'll admit, anytime I hear him go, boy, it just, my heart goes aflutter. That man just made me happy. The overall, just the film is charming. Yeah, it has those blemishes I mentioned earlier, but I also find some of those blemishes endearing. Some of the stuff that I particularly like is even outside of the. Sorry, wow, I'm wrapping up. I'm supposed to be talking about Blood Lake. I'm sorry. Blood Lake. I've never heard of it, and I don't know, maybe I'm not a masochist, but I don't really want to torture myself with something that is the bar of bad movies on a podcast. If I need a shirt that badly, I could just buy one from you, right?
You can, but who doesn't like free though?
I'd rather not hurt myself for 2 hours and just support you naturally.
Listen, I respect that and I appreciate that, but I'm just trying to. People love those challenges. You know what I mean? People are always doing some sort of challenge, some sort of stupid dance or something dangerous. This is safe. This is just.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know. You've already said this is a really bad movie. I don't know if it's safe. You just talked about having to get people drug tested to see if they're okay when they said it was a decent movie.
Yeah, I feel that way.
Yeah, so I really don't want Mick to get hurt while watching your movie. And I think Phantasm is going to lead to a much better time.
I know right now that Phantasm is. I like Phantasm more, but we never know where it's going to go, and that's a good argument, though. So, Sir Sturdy, what is your rebuttal to Chris's argument?
To his argument? Well, again, like I said a couple seconds ago, who doesn't like free stuff? Which I do appreciate what you did say, Chris. You'd like to support, but hey, this is my way of kind of giving back in a sense. As far like, listen, you gotta earn it. You're working for it in a sense because you gotta watch this bullshit movie, find a worse movie, come on the podcast, do the review with all of us. And again, like I said, if it's worse than everybody's ratings, boom, which I gave Blood Lake a -10. So that's going to be hard to beat. It was bad.
Whoa.
But,
oh, fudge.
Oh my God. This is the first time. All right. Here's my problem.
I like, see that what you just did right there. I love that because again, that's going to be, you're gonna, like when you're watching that film, you're going to be like, oh shit, fuck Sir 30, man. Why did he? But you know what? I might have a worse movie than this. And boom. And I mean, if you have kids, it's a good movie to put on when they're acting up. Listen, go in there. You're going to watch Blood Lake. You're not stop talking back to your teachers. So for the parents out there, stuff like that, it's just one of those films. It's just one of those films.
So this movie is now becoming punishment, is what you're saying.
Depends. Because again, punishment for children if they're acting up. But if you're someone, you're a horror buff and you feel like you have a worse horror movie, you've seen a worse horror movie, you may be able to, hey, that's possible. That's very possible. Then you get a shirt like this, and I don't have a mug with me. It's downstairs. And you get a Horror Source 30 mug. Free of charge. That's not a bad thing. Phantasm, though, I will say, I've never seen it. I do want to see it. One of my good friends has been telling me for the past year and a half, I need to watch it. But because of the whole podcasting, most of the movies I watch are because of my podcast. It's just one of those freaking things now. It's good and bad, I guess. And yeah, man, it's just one of those ones you just get out of the way. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even know. It's just one of those things. It's like just doing it, just to get it out of your life, get it out of the way, just to say you did it. Like, yeah, I watched Blood Lake and I survived. You're a survivor watching Blood Lake. I'm a survivor. I want you guys to be survivors of watching this film too. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you actually watch this terrible, terrible film. Like, I'm not going to try to lie and say this is a great film because it's not. I'm not going to try to sell it to you like that. I'm selling it to you by trying to give you some free merch, giving you free shit, finding a worse movie for me to watch and review. Why do I want to do this? I have no fucking clue. But I just want to see if there's anything worse out there. And then once that comes, if it comes, I'm going to do it again and again and again. And I also wanted to change it up because, like I said earlier, people, when they come on shows and it's like, hey, you should check this movie out, it's always something that they enjoy and that's good. I'd rather it be something that's bad, get some eyes on it, and, see what happens.
This is such a weird argument for why I should watch this movie.
I was going to say, the rebuttal against me did not really mention Phantasm at all.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, it is a good rebuttal because honestly, all he's saying is it's a bad movie. It's worse than the other movie on the table.
I'm not going to bash I don't know enough about I'm not going to bash Phantasm. It's probably an excellent film. I'm telling you guys how bad Blood Lake is, and I'm just being honest. Good
argument, I got to tell you. All right, before we get on to what this movie means to you, which I think that we've kind of covered, but I'm going to go. We're going to do it anyway. But before we do, I'm going to start with Sir Sturdy. Tell us about your podcast. When can we find it? Where is it? And anything else to promote?
Okay, so I'll start off with the Horror Sir Sturdy podcast. Every Tuesday night and Thursday night, we go live. It's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter now. I also made a TikTok where I'll just have little clips from episodes or whatever. Also, I have another show called Popcorn and Pints. That's same platform, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I think that has an IG too. My friend runs that page. And both of the podcasts are movie podcasts. Horror Sir Sturdy is strictly horror. Popcorn and Pints is everything except horror. Both fun, really fun, great shows. And I love it. I love it. Always looking for guests on both shows. Mick, I invited him on the show. He's actually going to be going live with us tomorrow night when they're going to be reviewing All Hallows Eve Part 2. Oh, yeah. So make sure you guys tune into that. And yeah.
I'm excited too. I watched it earlier, so I'll reserve my my feelings about the movie for your show.
Please.
But Chris.
Yeah.
Well, not but. Chris, actually, tell me about what you got going on. I was going to talk to you about the movie, but no, I want to hear what you're putting on.
So I got a couple things going on. The next thing that's coming up really for me is the Heavy Duty Man Indiegogo campaign. myself, and Cinema Photo, and working with Key 13, we're going to be putting out Heavy Duty Man. I like the Cinephoto catch line, no bucks, no fucks. So if they don't get enough money to make the film, we're not making it. I think we will, though. Jeremy Ogre is our lead, with also Slasher Scotty in it, and a few other people you might recognize from the indie horror community. I think it'll be a lot of fun. The campaign goes live Halloween Day. So follow the link to get the updates, and there'll be some special perk options for those who signed up for that notification.
Listen, guys, it's important that you support indie film. You know how we feel about that over here on the Scene Snobs. We try to do the best we can to help. But we do have the links in the descriptions of this, wherever you're watching. So go click over, support, do what you can, give what you can. If you can give $10, give $10. It goes.
Oh yeah, we'd love any support would be appreciated. I'll be honest, it's not going to be a horror movie, but it's more of a grindhouse movie.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit different than what you might have seen some of my more recent work and things like that, or other people's work that are connected to this film. Like some of these people are traditionally horror actors or drama actors. It's a lot of new, fresh faces and people trying different things. So I really hope that people come out, support the project, and enjoy the film.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will still keep promoting. Go to thescenesnobs.com. We have our indie films page. You can go on there. Key 13 is absolutely on there, the friends of the show. In fact, Key 13 has commented. They said Terribly Awful has some bad movies this season. Terribly Awful is a great show where they watch horrible movies. Horrible movies. I was fortunate enough to be a guest last season where we watched Battle Queen 2020, and it was a movie where 90% of it had Julie Strain and other women in it naked, and I just could not wait for it to end. And I love Julie Strain as a straight to video geek. It's great, but it was a bad movie.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching Terribly Awful. It's good.
And he actually says Terribly Awful movie reviews. Sir Sturdy, we got some bad stuff for you. You should check them out.
Will do, man. Will do. Can I just say one more thing on the end of Chris's thing? For anybody out there who has horror shorts that are 30 minutes or less, if you go to, we have another page called So Good It's Scary. If you post them on there, I want to say this part. If you post them on there, you're giving us the okay to show it live, which we would put we'd give you your credits and all that, put it in the description, and then review it right after before we do like a full movie review. Like tomorrow, we're doing a movie called The Shape from SOV Horror Videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to do that first and then go into the movie review. But just to kind of help the indie scene out more, we try to do that, show their movies on the live while people are watching. We'll be in the background quiet and then come back on, review it. And if they want to come on for an interview as well, that's also cool. And review the other movie we're doing, that's also always welcome. But I just want to throw that because you mentioned your Indiegogo thing, Chris. So I wanted to...
by all means, man. Hopefully we can send some shorts your way down in the future.
Sounds good, man. Sounds great.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I know Tony Masiello, he's a friend of the show. He's been on before. So, please, this SOV Horror is a wonderful distribution company. So let's support everybody. It's all about collaboration.
Yeah, and if you end up liking my take on films, Slasher Scotty, myself, and my wife, Rowan, are doing a podcast now called To The Movies. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, all that stuff.
Nice,
we just released episode 2 on Friday the 13th, part 2, where it gets weird.
I'm definitely in on that. I will check that out. And I appreciate you guys coming on. I want to say I'm very excited. Sturdy, I'm a friend of you. We're friends on Facebook, and I'm a fan of your show. Chris, of course, you are bigwig around here in the acting community, and especially part of Key 13. And I'm glad I could get you on the show. I know we've had you on the show before on our other show, but I'm glad I could.
I appreciate being considered a bigwig. I wouldn't have put myself in that category.
Listen, in the DMV area, you guys are the whole community, the whole independent film community is just lovely and beautiful, and I'm so happy to just even be friendly with it.
Fair enough. Well, again, thank you for having me. I thought it'd be fun.
I hope you guys did have some fun, but I think I think we've gotten past the third round so well, which is just what does this movie mean to you, and we know now. I think I'll make my decision if that works for you guys.
Oh, of course.
Give me 1 second. Think if there's any closing remarks I'd like to make.
Please, by all means, go right ahead. And if you have any, please.
So, all right. So one thing, just also because if you guys choose to end up watching the series of films 1 through 5, I think this is worth noting. Phantasm, the original film, it was a very long movie, and Don Coscarelli had to actually edit it down because of the length. I think original cut was like a 3-hour movie, and it was trimmed down a great deal. And since it was an independent film and it took so long, they actually were they filmed multiple different endings to the film because they're like, what do we like best here and there? Part 4 had such a small budget that they took footage that was shot from the first film and supplemented it into the 4th film. So it was new footage that fans of the series never saw that was put into the 4th installment. So you have the actors, which the actors actually of the franchise pretty much stayed through. So you have Kid Mike, who's like, I think 10, 13, somewhere in this. And in the 4th film, he's a 20-something-year-old man. And we're seeing now new footage of him as the young kid with other actors throughout the franchise. And I love the repurposing of that footage. Part 4 is not, I will admit, not a strong film, but I love that they were so creative to fit that budget constraint. So if you like the first film, Phantasm, I'd say give the whole series a whirl. It has its ups and downs, but it's creative and it will work with its financial budget constraints at times.
Yes, and Starter, you being a fan of horror movies, and I will say this about Phantasm, you should check out the whole series. The second one, though, just so you know, was a studio-based film.
It is, yeah.
And they didn't have the lead actor, was Michael Baldwin, who played Mike, the young kid in the first one. They didn't have him come back. They had another actor come back.
They had him come back for all the other films.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, Don was told basically you could have one of them. Originally, it was the studio said you can't have either Reggie the Ice Cream Man or A. Michael Baldwin, or Reggie Bannister the Ice Cream Man and A. Michael Baldwin. And Don argued, and then he was told he could have one. So he went with Reggie Bannister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we all love Reggie Bannister.
I mean, how many horror movie franchises have an Ice Cream Man battling the forces of evil?
That's very true.
I think I have one last argument for Blood Lake.
By all means, please.
So
I was like, I got a final pitch. By all means, throw something.
The movie sucked. You guys already know that. I'm not gonna. but you know how we like to see like growth. You know how you like to see like people grow and do better things with their lives. Mm-hmm. So the director of this Blood Lake film, Tim Boggs, actually went on to work on The Bucket List, Hercules, Lost Highway, and Breaking Bad. So I mean, that terrible portion of his life, he did a hell of a lot better. Everybody else in the film, nothing. But him.
All right. I made my decision. This is a tough one. This was a tough one because I love Phantasm so much. But because Sir Sturdy argued against his own movie the entire time, it's almost like the end of 8 Mile when Eminem just like rips on himself. And then I'm like, yeah, all right, that was the better one. That was a better argument at the time. It's almost like staring at the sun when they tell you not to stare at the sun.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to do it, especially with my brain cells. You're just going to do it. And I feel like I have to go with Blood Lake on this because it's something I've never seen before. Never heard of. And if it's this bad, I kind of want to see how bad it is. And if it's not as bad as Hard Rock Zombies, I'm coming after you, my friend. Because Hard Rock Zombies.
Listen, I'm accepting all challengers when it comes to that. And the way I'm gonna set it up is on my show we do like a horror wheel, and whatever movie picks is the movie we're gonna review next. So I'm gonna make one with all bad movies. Blood Lake is gonna be in the center, and whatever movie beats Blood Lake out will go in the center, and people can keep this fun thing going.
Listen,
but I'm telling you, it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough to beat.
I'm telling you right now, once you see Hard Rock Zombies and you realize that this 80s hair metal band dies, comes back as zombies, and has to fight Adolf Hitler and werewolf Eva Braun.
Yeah. See, that sounds way more interesting than I don't even want to give you the chances of Blood Lake. I just want you to go in there blind and see it. But that sounds better than Blood Lake. When you see it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" I hope you like water skiing.
I think that's where you might have gotten me with your argument. You haven't told me anything about Blood Lake. I don't know what happens in it. You've given me no plot. I have so much on Phantasm now, especially that I'm learning today, and I love that movie. I'm like, I'm walking away from it, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. And now you're telling me nothing about Blood Lake that is terrible, and I'm like, you've put an air of mystery to it, sir, and I have to applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I'll take the thing I took. I feel like I have the moral victory because both of you said you're gonna watch my movie.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely gonna watch. Like I said, Phantasm was actually on one of the wheel thing I was telling you. It's on one of the wheels, and as soon as it comes up, I'm gonna watch that one, review it, and I'm sure I'll just watch the other ones, not to review, but just to watch them in general. Because every time I see a franchise, I feel like I have to watch every single one of them, if they connect or not. One of those weird things.
They loosely connect. It's very, it's kind of at times, but it works. The last one, I'll admit, was sad for me. I was hoping for a different ending, but it still worked. And I would have shot it differently if it was me personally, but that's not my project or my baby, so I don't have the right to say that, really.
Well, I feel like I have the right to say this because I'm promoting this movie a lot too. Blood Lake, you guys should do something for me. But everything they did in this movie, I would have did everything different, everything in Blood Lake. But again, tune in, check it out. It's it's just one of those things, man. Honestly, just one of those things to where once you see it, like I said earlier, you're gonna remember the movie. You're gonna think of some friends, especially other horror podcasts. We go, listen, check this movie out, and then I want to know what you feel about it.
Well, Brandy Hubert definitely says that you definitely have a moral victory.
Oh,
it's definitely a moral victory here. So
thank you, Brandy.
I do feel like I wish I could award you both. I have to pick one, and I'm gonna go with Blood Lake. That's what I'm gonna watch, but I have to give it to you, Chris, because not only have you put the nostalgia of the wonderful Phantasm in here. We pitched it. Anybody who hasn't seen it needs to watch it. But Sir Sturdy himself says he's going to watch it. So you sold him. So I got to give you credit on that.
See, that's where I thought I was going to win. I was like, man, he's already admitted he's going to watch my movie. So, I was like, all right, Sir Sturdy's already agreeing with me.
It might be where the psychological came in because I'm like, well, if Sturdy's going to watch it, then I can watch Blood Lake and see if it's really as bad as he says. I do want to thank you both for being on the show tonight. Really, guys, go support the films that Chris is pitching, which is not pitching, but Heavy Duty Man and Key 13 Films. We love them. Again, you can go over to the scenesnobs.com on our independent film page, and there's links to everything there. There's also links in the description here, so you can support Indiegogo, which is Halloween, you said.
My understanding from talking with Cinephoto and Key 13 is that the campaign is going live on Halloween Day. It should be fun. I get to play a bad guy. So
awesome.
I love it.
If you watch the trailer, you'll see me do bad guy things.
Nice. I like it.
Dig it. And the trailer is in the link, so you guys can watch that as well. And follow them on Facebook.
Yep. And Instagram, I'm on there as well.
All right. Well,
there you go.
We will make sure we have everything on there so that way people can follow and they know and they can follow your career, Chris, which I applaud you and keep going, man. Trajectory is upwards.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Best of luck.
And thank you, Sir Sturdy, for letting me post the occasional plug on your page. Every now and again, I've put the Indiegogos from other things I've worked on there, and you've always approved it. So this is my chance to say thank you for allowing me to do such.
Of course, yeah. And this goes for you too, Mick. Anything and everything horror related, anybody that's watching, listening now, or listening in the future, as long as it's horror related, join the Horror with Sir Sturdy group. Feel free to post it in there. I don't care if it's your own podcast, whatever, because it's horror. We all love horror. It's more ways for us to learn more about other things in horror. Feel free to post it in there, in the group. The page, that's different. That's all for my own stuff. But the group, feel free to post. As long as it's horror related, I don't care.
I appreciate that. I mean, we're not strictly horror related, but we have a lot of emphasis on horror, so we'll stick to just those. But
I'm looking forward to the next horror movie that I'm in coming out. It's called 72 with Slasher Scotty. Oh, actually, I worked with Brandy on 72. She's a nice lady, and she was fun to work with. And if you're looking for a new movie to check out or to keep tabs on, 72 is also a good one to consider.
All right, perfect. So 72, and we will promote that as well when it comes out. Well, when it's out there and we have links and everything for it. I want to say Horror with Sir Sturdy, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, as you can see on his backdrop. But go check them out. I'm going to be on there tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about All Hallows Eve 2. I have things to say. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining the show tonight. Everybody, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. And, if you're interested in supporting the Scene Snobs anymore, just check out the end credits because we got all our links and everything that we got going on there. So until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan, Scene Snob, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob, and you can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, or you can check it out on any podcast platform or our YouTube channel anytime after that. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you guys want to join, check us out over on thescenesnobs.com. We have links for everything. The Scene Snobs merch store is open. You can check that out too. Links again on the site. Or like, follow, and subscribe on all of our social media. Again, head over to